It's the final countdown, gentlemen. The final day of the NPL Tasmania season. 4 simultaneous kickoffs down here in the south ahead of the Mitsubishi Medal tonight. And we are at the home of the champions, South Hobart, where they will be presented with the trophy. But first, there is a football match to be played, and they'll be taking on Launceston City. Joining me on this final day of the league season, Jake Morgan and Paul Hunt. Good afternoon to you, gentlemen.
Oh, and I'm excited about it, mate, because this team have absolutely deserved the title that they've earned themselves, and they'll get the trophy. And Dogger Brown is going to be an absolute menace with the champagne after this one, I would imagine. But I think they've been undefeated since round 6 of the NPL Tas, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it's just been a really imperious year from this South Hobart team, but be expecting them to get a pretty comfortable win here today against a team that shattered their hopes in the Launceston Cup.
Certainly will be. The only question over South Hobart is concentration. Are they up for it with the title already secured? As we head to that South Hobart lineup, a pretty familiar one, no changes, no blooding of youngsters in the kind of dead rubber at the end here. They've gone full strength. Dogger Brown in defence. And Kieran Brown, who's up for, I think, the Under-20s Player of the Year award tonight. And Gorry, who'll slot out in his usual back position. Darcy Hall, Ben Hamlet, very potent rotating force up front. Kobe Kemp will join them up there as well. Hugh Ludford, the stalwart, will join Dogger Brown in centre-back. Nick Morton, a sneaky chance at Mitzi Medal tonight is Nick Morton. Connor Schmidt at right back. Oscar Thomas, who's probably the only inclusion into the side today, and Alex Walter as well, rounding out the starting lineup. Jake, what do you reckon?
That's a good lineup, but just a disappointing lack of Albie in it, because the blokes had a run around and helped this South Hobart Challenge League team just seal the title today too, so it could be double trophy day down here at Darcy Street, and they'll be very pleased about that. But
you've had your dose of Albie, mate.
Oh, not quite enough yet.
You're greedy for the Lozinski.
No, they took him off in the 60th minute, so I think we could get him. Could see him have a little bit of a run out there towards the end of the day. But yeah, we've all seen a lot of these players today, and they are very skilled players. But really good to see Connor Schmidt holding down his place at left back since Quayle has come back to fitness, because, as was pointed out to me earlier in the day, I think Liam Quayle was one of the top 5 players for the Players Player of the Year last year, so shows the kind of talent that they have in the fullback positions, this South Hobart team, and shows what a talented young player Connor Schmidt is. As we have a look at this Launceston City lineup, number 10, Ben Brookfield, and haven't things changed since he has just inserted himself as a player manager, lads? Really brought an upsurge in fortunes for this Launceston City team, and just slotting himself in there with probably the most sought-after number in football too, which is always good to see. He's just asserting that he's in charge there. And we'll see the number 9, Nathan Butler, 8, Aaron Campbell, number 1, Lachlan Clark lining up in the goals, Andrew Champagne, Compagna, Isaac Indighetto, number 5, Shane Egan. We're seeing Jared Linger working his magic on the flanks, and always been a big fan of seeing him play. He's a very mercurial kind of player who can really pull out a moment of magic for these black and whites today. Number 14, Scott Marnie. Geez, if we had the mullet of infallibility refereeing before, then I think we're going to have to call this bloke the mullet of destruction, because he is not afraid to get stuck in, and he's a powerful unit at centre-back, Scott Marnie. Always enjoy seeing him trundling about on the pitch, and Ben Hamlet will have his hands full with him today. Number 15, Noah Mees, who is probably one of the best up-and-coming strikers around for this Launceston City lineup, and really like the way that he's just come on and really developed nicely as this season has gone on, and he's done a fantastic job of really asserting his place, leading the line here for Launceston City side that's probably on the way up. And we'll see the number 4, Dylan Williams, working his magic out in the middle of the pitch today too.
Yeah, those two probably their best hopes of the awards tonight at the Mitsubishi Medal count. Williams probably City's leading contender, and Noel Mees has been nominated for the Rising Star Award, voted on by the coaches. So 2 will be in the mix there. The bench for City, reschooled Vinny Camano, Rory Delap, a.k.a. Alexander Rosetto.
The tiles.
David Smith, who's good to see him back, but you can't drop Lachlan Clark, such as his form in recent weeks, so he'll be content to sit on the pine. And Nicholas Thorne, the full bench today for City, with the team obviously down for the big awards night tonight. And they'll be looking to end their season on a high as they head into the League Cup. I think that's why South Hobart have resisted temptation to play some youngsters either. They want to keep that form going all the way to this game against either Brisbane or Gold Coast.
Really disappointed that we don't see another Thorne on that bench, because I'd quite happily nickname that player in between them the Rose, because...
Well, Rosetto in between.
Yeah, exactly.
Could have worked a treat.
Exactly, it really could have worked a treat. So just would really like to see David Smith or Reece Gould get down to the government offices and change that name by deed poll so that we can work our pun magic here at Slice of Cheese.
Well, if only the government offices would open on a Saturday, we could see such majesticness.
No chance of that happening.
Zero chances. Just on Scott Marnie mullet watch, it's distinguishedly less mullet than when we last saw it. He's just out there in the middle, and look, it's got a little bit of flowing, but I'd still say the mullet of infallibility wins the Tasmanian NPL mullet award.
It's a more streamlined mullet, because wants to be able to win those imposing headers. You don't need a mullet that can really wrap around and mess with your vision. So power to him for going the streamlined mullet, but power to him for keeping it going too. And I really love the way that bloke gets stuck in the back half. He's quite a good centre-back who's not afraid to dish out a professional foul when necessary, which is something that I always love to see in a centre-back, because, you know, if you can't stop him by getting the ball, you can stop him by getting the man, Funty.
You're certainly not a fan of the Rio Ferdinand style of centre-back play, where you rarely get a card and just nicely knock it around the back. You like a good stuck-in Vinnie Jones type, don't you?
Yep, that's absolutely right. Vinnie Jones, eh?
I had to go back for a while as well. Have a look at the ladder here while we get off our weird 90s football tangents. Not too much change can happen today. Pretty much Launceston City managed to get a win, and Rangers don't manage to secure a point. They will move from 5th to 6th and win the battle of the Launceston clubs.
Well, we could see Clarence United yet get up in the Eastern Shore Derby and try and push. Oh, actually, no, I haven't had a look at the goal.
They'd win by about 30 goals. It'd be a big win for them to shift up.
I could see it happening.
I tell you what, there's rumours of FIFA coming around Australia. If that result gets up, they're going to be here next week for a normalisation committee at Olympia.
Yeah, I think fair to say Clarence won't be in the League Cup, so they're resigned to 7th. But certainly the Eastern Shore Derby, they were looking to win that one. They'd love to go level on points. The Warriors are locked into 2nd, Devonport locked into 3rd. It's all very finalised. Perhaps, however, big games for the individuals with the medal count tonight. The top players in the league might just want to be playing well today. It could just tip them over the edge.
I have no idea which way that Mitzi medal is going to go, because there certainly been a lot of talented players. You know, the likes of Colonel Sanders. A few players in this South Hobart line could be pushing for it. Perhaps disappointing that Jack Turner couldn't get a full season under his belt, or he'd just about be a shoe-in for it, because he's been in some pretty superb form since he's come back to Tasmania. Yeah,
certainly the case. Only 1 point between them for the Multiplex Media Award during the week. Grunwald just getting over Sklanage for that one by the smallest of margins.
There's another player that could well be in the discussions in Nicholas Morton too, perhaps with a big tip from Benjamin Smith on that one.
Yeah, did see that. It's good to hear South Hobart have gone back to the traditional thunderstruck. None of this, what do we have, Rob Thomas the other week. There was something else that wasn't, there was Cup of Life. There was
last weekend, they started off with this, and they Cup of Life for first goal, and then it all descended downhill very rapidly again. So they're strong starters, but they just need to maintain that level of consistency, the DJ. He can't run out the full 90.
No, he can't.
That's it. He pulled out some Pete Murray earlier on, which just nearly made me sick. The song Better Days, well, I've seen better songs, frankly.
So we're just about to get underway here with City ready to go. In the middle there is Nathan Butler. leading out this Sydney side today, so that's a change right off the bat.
Good to see we don't have a player, manager, captain. That triple threat is probably just a bit too much to handle.
Yeah, that's an interesting dilemma, I suppose. Does the captain have full authority on the field? I'd suggest not, but Jeeves has gone in there for the toss with a big dogger. And we're just about ready to go. A slight delay here in the kickoff.
It was a very odd start before when Coach Ben Brookfield went over and did the customary handshake with the opposition coach in full kit, whilst Ken Morton's got puffer jacket, borderline puffer trousers and sneakers on. Wasn't your standard look here for the pre-match pleasantries?
And I reckon in certain clubs he could just about still insert himself as a player manager, old Ken Morton.
Well, he did do it about 30 years ago, and I don't reckon he's still
certainly
got
got some good pedigree. That's for sure, and we are just...
Where would you play him?
Oh,
stick him up top, bit of Techers, knocking it out to Quayle and Gorry and Schmidt. I could see that happening.
They could have slotted him in goals when Kane Pearce got suspended a few years ago. That could have been a pretty good option. And we're underway here. Ben Hamlet just knocking the ball out to Nick Morton to get it going, and he looks to Schmidt straight away as Darcy Hall turns, but a good challenge comes in from Compagna. Hamlet looks to get his head up, and really good ball in there from Schmidt, and Darcy Hall was arriving, but just showing their real class early on here, South Hobart, to get his head work there from Connor Schmidt to stay up and really contribute attacking-wise. Number 10 there.
The coach.
Yeah, couldn't quite wrap his boot around that one at the far post either. And Alex Walter for South, so... Really teasing ball there from Connor Schmidt to get things going.
Man, he takes the goal kick and launches it on the head of Mees. Brookfield will look to get involved, but Goal of the Year nominee Oscar Thomas heading that one away.
Goal of the Year shoe-in.
Don't know about that. The Colonel's got a lot of online support. They've been running a pretty fierce campaign, the Zebras.
Well, they need to take something out of this year, don't they?
Morton across there to Walter, threading it down the line. Darcy Hall favourite for this one. He sends in the early cross looking for Hamlet. And coming across was Butler.
Yeah, buttled his way in there pretty well there, Butler, just to marshal Benjamin Hamlet off the ball before Compagna was also making a covering challenge. So really threatening stuff early on here from South Hobart, as we'd expect. And the big man, Marnie, just belts the ball up to Compagna. Really getting stuck in there was Nick Morton and Compagna. Combination play here between Schmidt and Morton. Wasn't that beautiful? He's started this game really well, Connor Schmidt. He tries to just show Compagna a little bit too much of the ball there, and he comfortably flicks it away.
Yeah, very promising start from South Hobart. Really doing what they've done all season and attack down this right-hand side, but that's well cleared, not as far as Morton. Nice little back heel. Dummy from Schmidt. Calls onside, and Ghetto gets across and knocks that one out for the first corner of the game.
It's the wind just starting to pick up here at Darcy Street. South Hobart on the offensive early. They've really dominated City at this ground over the past couple of years. City to beat them in the Lacquer Cup earlier in the year up north. But
I tell you what, they are rocking the same look.
Crosses in dangerously, headed away. There'll be a chance for another cross here for Kobe Kemp.
Compagna and DeGhetto.
Sends it in and rising and fumbling and then somehow heading over the top from 2 yards out. I think it was Hamlet on there. He's missed that one, a big chance. Lachlan Clark fumbling the Kobe Kemp cross, and Hamlet perhaps a little bit surprised it's come through, and he's put it over the bar from a yard out. That's a shocking miss. Big hammer time, Hamlet. Probably not expecting it, but probably should have buried that one.
Yeah, got a real hammer of the header to the ball and just got too much power on it to bob it over the top there, Ben Hamlet, but probably wasn't expecting that one to come through the hands of Lachlan Clark, but he'll be really trying to get on the score sheet today. Will hammer time.
I'm not sure if it's too late to get another edition for the gaffes of the season video that being in the last round, but look, that's a pretty blatant miss. Did come across him quickly. There's another person with the blonde hair and the headband for Launceston City. That's about 3 of them on the field.
Yeah, I've already gotten Compagna and DeGhetto confused because they are certainly rocking the same look here. It's a bit like those Zebras players with their little slick back blonde hair look. Real team uniform kind of stuff.
Must be something about the black and white stripes.
They've just been sold into trouble here as Morton combines with Darcy Hall and Hamlet makes a run, but a little bit too much for that one on Darcy Hall as Lachlan Clark had to make a vital interception there before the ball goes to, who has been the fullback of the year, there's no doubt. South Hobart's favourite ranger, as he has been known, but my favourite fullback, I have to say, because I'm going to be showing that man a bit more respect than the old slice of cheese commentary were. And that's managed to stay in somehow, and Brown's just going to opt to let that one go for the throw-in when he perhaps could have just let that one go out for the goal kick.
It didn't have too much pace, quite a heavy pitch here at Darcy Street. No action on it the last few nights because of the traditional August Tasmanian weather, so a bit heavier underfoot. As we see Degetto take that from Compain. Morton robs it back to Hall. Kemp in the centre. Probably try and switch it out right to Thomas. Good pressure in the centre, and Nogger Brown will sweep that up.
Good interception there from Dylan Williams, but just didn't have the players around him to... Oh, and a nutmeg there from Connor Schmidt before the covering challenge is made into Ghetto. Really good stuff. He started well, hasn't he, Connor Schmidt?
Yeah, robbed early, and Compain will look to break forward. Got Mees up ahead. Keeper comes out and claims that. Aims for the grandstand and managed to be kept in. No, not quite. Muller infallibility has called that a throw-in, which blonde-haired headband player number 1 will take.
Into Ghetto, that one.
Yep. Ghetto's had Brookfield inside. Probably should have went there in the end as he's knocked that straight out of play harmlessly for a throw-in.
That was the kind of shanking that you often see in Ghetto.
Very sharp as Huey Ludford, who's had a fine year for this South Hobart side, will take the throw in. Of course, another angle for the South Hobart team. Kieran Brown trailing Marcelo Mercury by 1 in the clean sheet count, so the Golden Glove Award potentially up for grabs. He won't want to be conceding today. Zebras taking on Rangers over at KG5. No score in that one yet. No scores in any of the grounds so far as Ludford throws it there to Kobe Kemp. Rolls it forward. Darcy Hall and Schmidt combining. Just kept in by Hall, and now he drives to the byline and crosses, and Butler just smashes that one over onto the neighbour's roof.
Yeah, that's a heritage listed roof, that, so you better be careful there. You'll have a lot of people coming after him after that clearance. We got the break for the corner. Good on FFT for having all the games on at the same time. Nice and traditional on the last day of the season. Noticed that Queensland haven't this weekend by the looks of it for their title decider.
We've just played the Challenge Cup too in glorious sunshine, and the rain has started to fall here at Darcy Street, so that could perhaps let it zip around the pitch a little bit more, but that surprised me. Utterly come from nowhere, this weather, and most disappointing aspect of that is that we've got Nathan Code running up and down the line, and we won't have the sun glinting off that glorious mullet.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what all the fans out there are most disappointed about.
Yep.
As we'll see Marnie with another hoofing goal kick to come. He's certainly got a bit more purchase on that. Kemp rising high and gets to it. Now Linger looking to play it forward in direction of Mees, but Oscar Thomas nearly sells his goalkeeper short there, and Brown just hoists that one in the air. It's Walter with the flick on. Now Gorry playing as a winger pretty much, as he has done most of the season. Bit of a fresh airy before that goes out for a throw-in.
Haven't seen the last few South games actually, but it almost seems like they're almost going with 3 at the back at times.
I was thinking that when I was reading out the team sheet earlier today, how they're going to fit Brown, Ludford and Thomas in the same lineup, and maybe Ken Morton just trying something out to put onto the League Cup just to surprise the opposition.
So it seems that we've got a midfield duo of Kobe Kemp and Nick Morton, and a really fluid front 3 in 3 talented players with Hall, Hamlet and Walter combining. But yeah, things are certainly look like this is a real wing-back kind of role being played by Schmidt and Gorry so far. A little bit of a combination between that man Schmidt and Nick Morton before he jinks through a few players, and Draws the foul quite well there from Butler, I think it was.
Yeah, lovely little nutmeg from Morton. Gets away from one, gets away from two, and Butler had committed. All ends up, and once Morton's in that kind of form and you've committed, it's quite hard not to give out a free kick.
He'll have a piece of that, no doubt. And Kobe Kemp will be threatening over the top of this one because he's quite a threatening free kick taker and one of the best dead ball players in the state.
The season started with a Kobe Kemp goal from a free kick. And we won't have won the final game just yet because Clark has made a fantastic save to get across and keep that out. It was dipping. Well struck from Kemp. He's curling this one up and over. And Clark across.
That is a great save. A really good save, but yeah, not a lot of pace on that one from Kobe Kemp, but all placement rather, as I try and get my tongue sorted out after a night on the red wines.
Kemp stands this one up. Clark again strong and punches well clear. Cross for Campbell. And Soupy gets up and looks to run at Ludford. And it'll be chopped off there by Schmidt. Works it forward. And foul's been spotted. South Hobart will get the free kick.
First touch for Soupy Campbell there on the far side as we have a look at the replay again. With Clark coming out to punch that one over the head of Marnie.
Yeah, probably the right option to go with after that first little, well, error that led to Hamlet's chance going over the top of the crossbar as we see big imposing Marnie. He had the clearance away but not too far, only as far as Walter, who looks to get it in but blocked by that man again, Marnie. And they look to get it out this other side to Compagnia, but only as far as Hugh Ludford, and they certainly are going a back three here today, Funty, I think.
Yeah, they're
and
going.
Why not try it out? It's certainly in vogue.
Yeah, they're certainly going full Marcel Bielsa 3-3-1-3 at the moment. That's what I'm thinking.
I think with Jack Turner out, it does make sense. Get Oscar Thomas in there, and Morton has been really trying to find ways to maximise Adam Gorry's attacking output down the right. He's tried Kemp out on the right to link up, and perhaps the wing-back way is just another way to really fully utilise those outstanding fullbacks that they do have at their disposal. And look, you've got a player like Oscar Thomas, it's hard to keep him on the bench.
Yep.
So with Turner out, I think it makes sense to just trial this one and try and find the new formation.
Well, they could go 4 centre-backs at the back if they want, with old Liam Scott just kicking around in the twos too. That is an embarrassment of riches for South Hobart.
Yeah, not bad depth.
Not bad depth at all. I've got this image of Scotty now playing sweeper and trying to fit him into that back four of centre-backs. You've got to do it somehow. It's a nice
just about stick him on a wing. He's good enough.
Well, he's played there before as well as Orton just beats it out.
Great challenge.
Great challenge. And then another one on the ground. Puts out Compain. Brown decides not to come to it. Got Mees at the back post. Good covering from Ludford for Lonnie City's first corner of the game.
I think that was Shane Egan with the challenge there in the middle of the park. That was some beautiful stuff. We'll have another look at it again as Morton's about to get away. Have a look at that. Beautiful stuff there from Big Egan.
Certainly is, as we'll have Compain over the corner. He's got 6 in the box to aim for. Hope this is going back post and goes right in the middle. Ball bounces, indecision, gets the volley up and just hoofs that high well over the bar.
Yeah, champagne delivery from Compain there. Really good stuff to just kind of curl it in at a height that you could attack at the near post, or just kind of let run into that chaotic area that is the middle of the box when you've got players everywhere can really ping about. A bit like the old Indiana Jones ping pong machines that popped up everywhere.
Indeed, as that's nicely cleared again from Marnie. That's a phrase we'll be saying many times over the course of this 90 minutes. He's going to have an absolute aerial bombardment down his side as Gorry looks to take the throw in. Nice turn from Walter and goes again, falls to the ground. Won't be getting much out of that, and that's just hoofed in a very aimless area, which Ludford will take all the time in the world to collect. Now Schmidt, misplaced ball, Compain. Nearly gets it back to DeGhetto.
He recovered well there, Connor Schmidt, to just get a boot in and allow it to go back to Hugh Ludford before. Just an untypical poor touch there from Nick Morton. Allows the ball to escape from him, and DeGhetto will try and get it going up the right-hand side before Schmidt intervenes.
Yeah, just getting First real touch on the ball, meaningful possession of Launceston City. As Ben Brookfield's looking very attacking today. Usually we see him hovering around the centre of the pitch. He's got a few options here. Does to Gatto, tries to get it to Compain.
It's a crisp salad he's repping too, isn't it?
It's a very, very crisp salad. And now out wide to Soupy Campbell. Looks inside, gets the return ball, goes to the ambitious volley, and Gorry, wow, doesn't really clear that effectively. Spins back to Soupy. Tries to turn away from
good
Gorry.
Body work.
Yeah, good work all round. Still manages to get the cross in, and Compain nearly gets ahead to it for Ludford.
I'll tell you what, that was a powerful beef stew there from Soupy, because all strength there and all protein. Power to the lad there for holding off the best fullback in the league and getting in a decent cross, which there wasn't quite enough on in the box. I think it was Compain who had made the run into the middle.
Indeed, as that's a misplaced pass. Looking towards Mees. Marnie just comes across in front of Hamlet and says, I'll have that. He's now directing traffic. Here's the mullet. And Soupy Campbell doesn't quite get that one. Calls for a Launceston City throw, heated. So getting a nice bit of territory here, City.
Yeah.
As the rain now just chucks it down at Darcy Street. You probably can't tell on the camera, but the left-hand side, it is pouring down.
Yeah. We've seen that a few times this year. It seems that there's just a break in the weather here as the ball comes out to De Ghetto, and he looks to go to his lookalike in Compain. The ball is just kind of belted away there by Hugh Ludford. When in doubt, he says. Kicks it out. Ball will come now to Nicholas Morton. So typically imposing challenge there from Marnie, but a beautiful back heel there from Nick Morton to release Darcy Hall. He looks to play in Hammer Time Hamlet. There's a bit of a coming together with Ben Brookfield, but they play it straight over the top to Compain, and it's a bit of a coming together there from Brown, and he's just kept going there as Dogger Brown sensibly goes back onto the line and clears it away. Well done to Dogger Brown, showing his experience there. When the keeper had come off his line, sensibly gets back to cover him. Beautiful stuff from Dogger.
Yeah, Compain had put it on target, but well defended by Brown. And now Morton looks to work it forward. Hammer Time Hamlet looking to surge in behind. Jared Linger did really well to whip it away from him.
It was Compain to the Great Dane.
The young fullback Linger doing well. Here's Adam Gorry. Robbed of it by Campbell. Now Linger pulling forward in the middle, and now they swing it forwards, looking to pick out Compain, but that's poor service for him. And he won't be getting on the end of that, but City doing well, absorbing, then hitting back the other way. It's been a venue they've struggled at over the past 2 years, City, so they're going to want to really hang in there early and not concede those goals, but good signs early, and Brown got himself into all sorts of trouble there. Needs the clean sheet today if he's going to claim himself the Golden Glove Award, as Clarence United have taken the lead against Olympia. 1-0 over there at Warrior Park. Speaking
29 to go.
They've never been done. Clarence, who've never beaten them in the derby since returning to the top tier. Ahead as Schmidt threads this one through. And sliding across to defend was Butler.
Yeah, I'm just in shock at that result of
I'm not.
Clarence getting in front of Olympia.
Always good to see.
And Hobart Zebras have taken the lead against Northern Rangers 1-0.
Well, that'll certainly make this Lonnie City team quite happy to hear. I'm not sure about the difference in goal difference between the two sides, as didn't get a look at that before the beginning of the game, but I'd certainly love to see Northern Rangers get a loss here and try and reel them in on the table, and that's a beautiful touch there from the number 8, Soupy Campbell, before it just kind of got stolen away there. See Alex Walter look inside. He plays to Morton before Marnie just utterly belts it into the belly of Nick Morton, and would not be surprised if he's missing a bit of wind from his chest there after that one.
Well, I think he is holding the chest there. Any ball belted into you from close range from Marnie there will do that. And I tell you what, I'm really wishing we had the whole Sky Sports Soccer Saturday set up on the last day of the season. Get around the grounds, get Jeff and all that screaming into your screen.
Better be some cami involved.
Oh, there'd be a lot of cami.
So Kobe Kent with a free kick. He drives it wide of the mark. But, no, I'm just getting the old text messages in here from scores around the ground. Nothing quite that flash.
Bit of teletext action. So, I don't know. I think they cost too much to bring out here to Tasmania. So It'll just be a goal kick for Launceston City, and we'll keep calling the game in front of us. As Marnie sizes up another heave-ho. That goes right down the middle. Flicked on, headed there, only as far as Schmidt. Payne not terribly pressuring the ball, and Hamlet's made a diagonal run. Diving in there is Marnie. He sized him up the whole time. As you can just see him running in there as soon as Hamlet touches the ball.
He was later than a Metro bus there, was big Scott Marnie, but we should be seeing a little bit of that here today as Darcy Hall tries to turn, but only as far as the big unit Marnie. Ben Brookfield holds up the play, but plays a poor ball in the end, which Morton tries to top in terms of poorness. And the ball was played over the top of Mees, who takes a brilliant touch off the back of his left shoulder blade there.
We'll claim he meant that.
Yeah, we will claim that. We see Ludford showing his calm experience with a 1-2 there with Kemp, and goes back to Kemp. Kemp gets his head up, but perhaps just a little bit of the wear in the pitch showing there, with a bit of a bobble occurring for what is probably the most immaculate pitch usually in the state.
Yeah, that's what 4 days of rain here in Hobart will do to your first touch. Is quickly taken throw in from DeGhetto Marnie. A fairly agricultural pass there. Ludford returns the favour, but falls right in the space there. Hamlet, and unfortunately not quite from Darcy Hall. He had the right idea to play in Hamlet. Just overhit that attack, and Gorry pressing up high from wing back, wins the ball back. Morton, Hall at the back post. Slip from Marnie. Hamlet picks it up, and surely it goes over the top. Marnie didn't get too much ball then.
Yeah, interesting shout for a penalty there, but they're going to keep going here because they thought that they had a chance to get the ball in the box before the intervention from Linger. But as you say, Funty, certainly shouts for a penalty there. Maybe a hint of offside there from Nick Morton, but the ball only goes as far as Lachlan Clark.
I mean, sticking the leg out in the box like that is always a dangerous opportunity, and it's probably credit to Hamlet for staying on his feet.
Yep, and not trying to draw the penalty. Good fair play there from Hammer Time Hamlet, which is always good to see. You don't like to see him going down cheaply as Schmidt tries to go through, but Clark comes well off his line. And after that first nervy moment, he's been quite good in goals, the Launceston City keeper.
Yeah, now they've got him warmed up. That's a good halfway throw right under the head of Mees, who unfortunately doesn't have much company up there. It's a 4v1. Now Schmidt plays it out to Hall. He's got Schmidt and Morton inside. Falls to Compain. Now Egan. He's looking to size up a pass. Ends up playing a nice through ball to Compain. Mees is on the right-hand side. Dogger Brown read that one the entire way. And Walter will clean that one up and then get the return ball. Tries to go past Linger. Gets the chest in the way. Now Coach Brookfield. Have a good player manager getting a much-needed touch on the ball. Haven't seen him too much today. As we have a look at this shout again.
For a penalty. He did get a bit of the ball there. You can just see it deflect into the ground there. So good refereeing there from Stratos to not give away a cheap penalty there. And good work from Benjamin Hamlet for not trying to appeal for one that perhaps had a hint of a look of one, but on the replay, certainly not.
Yeah, very good call by Stratos. That's why he's down there, and I'm up here in the box. As Morton looked for the return ball from Hamlet. Not obliging. Little ding chip forward, and it's a scuff clearance from Nagato, which luckily falls not towards the goal and rolls out harmly to the far side. And Clark very aware and alert as he rolls it out to Ling up. He's not too many options forward. South have got nearly all their players back. Marnie. Oh, sorry, now Marnie's on the ball. It was Butler before as Ghetto plays it right in between four players. Ends up with the coach. Linger again. Nice through ball. Now Mees playing as that lone target man and fortunately given away when he had a few options up front. Now Walter.
Good pressure there from Noah Mees and really good work to hold on to the ball there as a attempted flick comes through there from Darcy Hall, which would have played him through. Always worth trying that kind of champagne football. As we see Indighetto combine with Egan before they off to go back to the imposing figure of Marnie, who finds, I think, Noah Mees up on that left-hand side before South recover the ball, as they so typically do. Young.
Thomas goes across to Gorry. Nice work in the middle here from Alex Walter. Chipped up over the top. Now he has the situation at hand. Walter, one of those South Hobart players who will be looking for a good performance today to try and pick up a couple of votes. Yeah, a number of them in the running. They all steal off each other. Here's Campbell in a pocket of space. He drives it. Campaign running onto it and almost getting on the end of. Looked like a shot at first look and then turned into a pretty promising through ball. Really hit with conviction.
He almost, if he was on the same wavelength of that one, Campaign, and goes to ground with the sliding shot, then, well, maybe if you're a world footballer, you're getting onto that one, but yeah, perhaps just a little bit of a chance manufactured there. It was a glorious ball.
I would say Hugh Slute's the only one with legs long enough to reach that one.
Fair shout there, Funty. Certainly not slating the young kid.
Oh, I wasn't implying you were. It's unlike you to slate anyone, Jake Morgan.
Absolutely not.
As Hobart Zebras 2-0 up over Rangers after 20 minutes there. So they look like they're doing
all the more to play for then for City.
Yeah, definitely.
A little bit of bragging rights up north, I suppose, is the big story of this last round of the season. Good to see, yes, FFT not allowing the betting markets to be affected.
Not sure what you're accusing FFT of there, Morgan, as Ludford.
Oh, absolutely nothing. Got to play them all on the final day at the same time.
I'm not sure that's the primary reason for it. As Schmidt's played in behind, a heavy touch, he cuts it back.
And you don't want people playing for results, of course.
I think that's probably more the factor.
None of these manufactured 2-all draws like we've seen in competitions past.
Not that there's all that much to manufacture today anyway. Everything pretty well sewn up as Hugh Ludford lays it back to Kobe Kemp. He'll think about the long-range strike, and it's just over the top from Kemp.
Euro 2004, if you're wondering what I'm referring to.
Yeah, there you go. You were getting a bit too obscure for me. That is before my time of following the beautiful game.
Well, you wait for the next World Cup. Real potential for Oregon results with that ridiculous format they're adopting.
Oh, my God.
It's going to be absolutely farcical, some of the manufacturing that can go on there with the three-team groups.
Yeah, three-team groups are never a good idea. You can just imagine some boring 0-all draws in those third games between, Qatar and, Venezuela or whoever else is going to qualify next time. As Gorry gets in and expertly cleared from Brookfield. That's another one.
At least we're
locks. Main street.
At least we're locks.
Yeah.
Just about not.
Well, if we've learnt one thing from Australian World Cups is we're not very good at playing the game that everyone else is playing. As we'll see Ludford stroll the ball out there for a corner kick.
And back on that game, that was actually quite a good block away there from, I think, Ben Brookfield, who got back to cover the cross in from a wide position. So we'll be seeing this man, Gorry, get over the ball with his right boot. So expect an outswinging corner here. A lot of movement in the box. Looks to be going towards the head of Dogger Brown. And he gets his head to it, but just wide. Really picked him out quite well with that ball, didn't he? Certainly in the kind of zone that he was making the run towards it. But it was also covered on that far post by Campagna, who'd got back into a sensible position. And I always like to see players who will get back on the line at set pieces because they save you goals.
Yeah, I'm a front and back post person as well. I think it's still very much needed, as we'll see another goal kick from Marnie. A bit more pace on this one. Nearly takes out the referee. Thomas plays it out to Gorry, who really got too many options, so just plays it back to Thomas. And these will have to do some more chasing up front. And now Kieran Brown. Oh, a loose touch and a slip from Ludford. He ends up just having a hoof that one into the sky, which Butler will easily clear. Looking for Brookfield, no luck. So Kobe Kemp moves it out wide to Gorry, who usually you'd say had moved to wing back, but he's played there pretty much every time I've seen him anyway.
Yeah, certainly gives his winger that he's supposed to be defending something to think about, given how much he gets forward. And so quick and so good at getting back that he certainly can afford to do it. He's been a class player this year and last year.
and exactly as Noah Mees. That was very good hold-up play there. Could have possibly earned a free kick for a push in the back, but his team kept the ball nonetheless as Brookfield goes the very clever return ball Going out wide. Nice step over. Got plenty of time and space here. It's Williams. He'll look to load up and tries to play in Mees. Probably went one pass too far there. Did a peak Arsenal and should have just hit the thing.
Yeah, lovely box-to-box work, though, from Nick Morton, too, to get back and cover that one. Fair bit of credit for that one because it could have gotten into a dangerous position. Were he not aware to it? Just see them jinking into the box here, Dylan Williams. Yeah, sensible stuff because Noah Mees could have well been on the end of that one. So something that you'll always like to see from your central midfielders as a defender. Good covering play.
Absolutely. As now Kobe Campbell looked to play it forward. Hamlet's really playing on the last line. I hope
he looked to about
hope
a
he
foot
doesn't
offside.
run after this. Yeah, probably should have left that for the teammate. He was a good yard offside there.
As we just go back to the old systems of measurement right there.
Can't say I've ever learnt. I don't even know what that even refers to in modern.
A yard? How long is a yard? Is it about? Only about 90 centimetres or so, isn't
This
it?
is one of those things us young people Google, isn't it?
Yeah.
As Marnie off that one.
And then act like we knew it the whole time.
Yeah.
As Campaign tries to head it back to De Ghetto, but a lot of pressure comes in from the South players very quickly. De Ghetto gets the header down. Walter combines with Ben Hamlet before Stratos gives the throw to Launceston City when perhaps there could have been a hint of a free in that for South.
Olympia hitting back at Warrior Park. 1-1 the score now.
To be expected, I think.
Yeah, unfortunately Clarence couldn't quite get those other 29 goals in before Olympia went.
Well, 30 to go.
Exactly, as now Campaign's called for offside. Dogger Brown very theatrically just punches that one into the sky. He must have been fairly confident that play was blown dead.
Yeah, really good stuff there, showing how he could probably just slot back in as the goalkeeper were any injuries to happen here today to Kieran Brown.
I was thinking sign him up for volleyball, but anyway.
Yeah. No.
No. As they're just taking their time here. Calls for Kieran Brown just to kick it. Bad luck Dogger Brown doing his shoe up. And he obliges to Stratos. Marnie beaten out in the header. Good body work from Darcy.
And he's onside.
Plays in Hamlet. Big chasing back. He looks to duck inside. Benny Hamlet selects the first one home for South Hobart. Great play from one end to the other. Good body work from Hamlet and a cool, composed finish in the corner.
Yeah, and we've seen him pull that move a few times this year. Just loves to get back onto that right boot after being played through, does Benny Hamlet. And calm as a cucumber, just slots it down into that bottom right corner.
Yeah, as we have a look at that replay, it's a great through ball there from Hallwell on the turn. Sold Egan up the river and just puts it past the foot of Clark. And 1-0 South Hobart. On reflection, the game's probably been a draw, I'd say. South Hobart probably had the more gilt-edged chances, but Lonnie City the last 15 played rather well, so we'll see. Let's hope that doesn't knock their confidence a bit too much as Gorry plays a lovely ball into Hall again and just pressures out. Corner kick given.
Good work there from Marnie to get over and prevent the cross from coming in. Even if he's conceded a corner there, probably much more threatening from a situation where you've got a player running in to just pick out the man who's just scored, as Gorry takes it short, and poor touch taken there from Nick Morton, and it'll go out for another corner after the intervention of Linger, I think it was. Can't quite see, but I think it was Linger. We'll see Gorry look to take it again, and I suspect that this one will be put into the box.
I reckon this will be looking for that head of Thomas and Brown. It's what I'd be doing every time as he looks in the Thomas direction, just tries to crane his neck to get to it. But
a few shouts for a penalty there, I think, coming from Dogger Brown, as we'll have a look at the replay to see if he's got anything to shout about. Really just the slip, so certainly no penalty doing there, but not sure if he was calling for one or not.
Can't imagine what else he'd be calling for from that position, but we'll see. Marnie been pretty consistent with his goal kicks so far, and Alex Walter just thumps that one out of play.
And the goal scorers for Hobart Zebras, Nick Granmore and Matthew Sanders. Could that prove decisive, gentlemen?
Well,
Oh, well.
Certainly two players who will be right in the mix for tonight. You would imagine probably the Zebras' two best performers throughout the year, despite how much I do love the giraffe, Lukey Hoogsloot.
Yeah, consistent both ends of the pitch. Those two performers for Zebras. Interested to see how Grunwald scored, whether it be a corner or from open play. I can imagine a mazy run from the defender and getting a few votes.
Could be either.
There's Ludford looks for Hamlet. Nothing doing. Brookfield and Compain exchange passes, and Uncle Brown, I think, eventually figured out what was happening there. Schmidt inside to Hall. That's another fantastic challenge from Marnie.
And that's a beautiful crossfield ball too, isn't it, Funty? He gets it out wide to Soupy Campbell, who's got Noah Mees in the middle. Jinks onto his right, has a ping. But just a bit of shovel boot about that one as it ends up well over the fence and into the neighbour's yard.
Yeah, he's missed that by a lot in the end. I'd be inclined to think a bobble on the pitch, or he's just leant back a fair
little bit of a combination of both factors there, I think, on the replay. So good signs there for Launceston City too, who just showing that they can really threaten on the counter. It was a beautiful challenge from Marnie and then a beautiful crossfield ball too.
Absolutely, as you see Kemp rolls it forward to Schmidt with DeGhetto, and Marnie again plays a lovely pass to Ken Morton. Obviously that means it's a South Hobart throw. And we're talking about Morton's Techers. Great first touchdown there as well. As we'll see Ludford in probably the most advanced position we've seen him for quite some time. Morton, another nutmeg on DeGhetto. Muscles him out of the way, and a free kick given against Morton.
Soft free kick.
Yeah, we'll have another look at that. He's got through him.
He just... I reckon just good body work there.
Yeah, I didn't see too much in that, but
perhaps the referee had a bit of view of perhaps a bit of a tug with that arm of Morton's going over the right shoulder there of DeGhetto. So we'll give Stratos the benefit of the doubt there, as Marnie gets the ball going with another beautiful crossfield pass to Linger. Linger tries to take on Kobe Kemp, but then runs into a wall of players, which was Alex Walter and Oscar Thomas.
We're not doing a very good job of keeping our footballs within the field of play today. That's about the fourth one that's gone over the fence.
Perilous day to be a match manager here at Darcy Street. Really getting a workout.
Especially with delivery back in like that. Morton's asking for the ball back and not getting much reception there from the basketball court. As we'll see Kemp to play in
terrible
Morton.
sport basketball.
Morton drives at the defence, threads it through for Hammer time. Hamlet skips past the defender. Can he get there before the keeper? He does. Tucks it back to Hall. Surely Smith blocked brilliantly there.
DeGhetto.
He's done so well to deny him. Somehow South don't score. A scrambling effort in defence. But really, South should have put that one in the back of the net. That should be a slice of cheese.
Soupy Campbell just really overcommitting there. And, geez, not sure what you can call that kind of soup, because that was just solid.
Real cheesy type soup, I thought.
Yeah,
but,
that's exactly right.
But apparently not, as Nick Morton gets on the ball again. Feigns one way and then the other, being tracked closely by Butler. And Mordog Morton dwells on it, works it to Hamlet, turns at the top of the box, then returns it for Morton, who's offside. He bundled it home, but it won't matter.
A few kids behind us quite happy with that one, but just let down by the raised arm of the linesman there, who probably got it correct, I think. And, you know, if it wasn't offside, just about could have been given a penalty away there by Butler, who was all over Nick Morton.
Oh, you'd want to hope they played advantage and let the ball roll in the back of the net.
Yeah, true.
As we'll see Marnie look at the free kick again. Lonnie City just had a little steam in this half. South Hobart really getting on top the last 10 minutes. As Hamlet
that really
to play in Walter.
shows the danger of having your centre-back taking the kicks out there, because Ben Hamlet was played well onside there for the header to come back in from Connor Schmidt. So wouldn't mind seeing Lachlan Clark get on the end of a few of those goal kicks, as much as I love the big unit, Scott Marnie.
Yeah, often take goal kicks, does Clark, but when you got such a potent force and such an intelligent attacking team as South Hobart, they will look to exploit that at all possible times. As Oscar Thomas, goal of the year contender, now Kemp, now to Gorry. And he'll look in the direction of Hamlet. A
Oh,
lovely
well done.
little touch there, and he's got Connor Schmidt in acres of space. Arnie does well to block that. And he's now got to go out and chase Hamlet, which is an interesting pace battle.
Really intelligent stuff from Ben Brookfield there. The player manager is a big shot from distance, cracks the bar from Kobe Kemp. And that has just come from nowhere and caught us unawares. That was a beautiful effort, you have to say. So we're just singing the praises of the big player manager. Have a look at this from Kobe Kemp. Really puts his boot through that one and just probably rising a little bit too much as it hits the top side of the bar and goes over. Lachlan Clark's tried to get a hand to it, but it's moving about that much that he just did not have a chance. Beautiful stuff from Kobe Kemp.
So that flew in. Might have had to make the arbitrary overrule of the entire voting system and just given him goal of the year for that.
Yeah, I just about reckon it would have been a fair effort. He absolute rocket, that one.
While I do like the bracketology that we've implemented for that, I would not be opposed to that in the slightest. As we see Butler.
Crossbar of the year. Why not? Give it to him.
Well, he was just about far out for a bit of crossbar challenge as well, as Schmidt does well to keep that in.
Beautiful.
Hamlet skips away from about 3 challenges. He's got Morton in front and Brookfield just nod that one out of the way. Morton beaten out to it from Williams, who'll get the return ball. And Brookfield again. Certainly wins player manager of the year, does Brookfield. That's it to Ghetto, making that goal-saving challenge earlier today, just before, as that's a cheap giveaway. 4v3 here if Walter can work this right. Far post has Morton on one side, Hamlet in the centre, and that is an absolute shank from Nick Morton. He knows he can do better than that.
And he just gives Elise Archer's face a bit of a boot there too in frustration.
Yeah, he's a bit frustrated. The Morthog, he knows he might need votes today, the Morthog, and he can't be doing that. That's not catching the eyes of the referee.
No, certainly not. Just didn't wrap his left boot around that one as Marnie intelligently takes it short to De Ghetto, who flicks it back through his legs and tries to turn around Schmidt before playing a ball up to Campagna and Mies. But Dogger Brown showing his experience there and just winning out for South to get it moving up this right-hand side through Gorrie. But good interception there from Linger before he combines with Williams and Soupy Campbell. The ball comes back out to, I think, Dylan Williams before he whacks it into Oscar Thomas and appeals for a handball before just kicked out of play there by Oscar Thomas, who's perhaps acknowledging that he blatantly handballed it and
rather give away the throw in.
Just showing a bit of good sportsmanship, I think, there.
God, they've been very good sports today. Yeah, Hobart is
it's amazing
challenge.
How good you can be in terms of sportsmanship when you've got the league title wrapped up.
Yeah, and there's absolutely nothing else to play for as Clark take that one back into the box, roll it out to Brookfield, who's still got a few South Hobart players around him. Now out to Marnie, just pokes a little left foot toe poke. He'd like to get it back on his right, which he does. Play on Williams, looking for Campaign. Now inside to Egan. And, just a little miscommunication there. One of the inside run, the other one down the line from Lonnie City as we tick near half-time. Gorrie picks it up on the far side where he's had plenty of room to move today with the new formation. Marnie lost that one out as we get a very chilly breeze come across South Hobart.
Yep, just straight from the refrigerator, that one. Up behind us.
Yeah, well, Mount Wellington is a permanent refrigerator at the moment. You could put some jelly in a bowl and sit it up there and it'd be nice and hard for the morning. As Gorrie takes the throw in. Nice turn again from Hall. Look to play the 1-2 with Walter. Gets there. Brookfield doesn't get there in time, but good save, I think, in the end from Clark. I thought that was on target.
Yeah, perhaps
from Walter.
Needing a little bit more communication there between Brookfield and Lachlan Clark, because I think Brookfield was just trying to shepherd Darcy Hall out for that one. And yeah, it was lucky that he got a hand to it, because that could well have been a goal, I think, from Lachlan Clark. So that could be a good save.
Taken short. Dogger Brown peeling off to the near post. Gorrie will look to take it left foot and can't beat Marnie.
They're open up here, but There was nobody out that side for them as Hugh Ludford thinks that he'll get involved in the attacking play here for a while before DeGhetto tries to streak through. Mees puts it into his path, but Stratos sees no advantage in that, and there will be a free kick, presumably to be taken by Brookfield.
We would think that, unless Marnie wants to have another standard hoof from a slightly more advanced position. And taken short in the end, now Williams. Now Mees. And nice build-up play, Brookfield just given away. Williams had committed there, gets a bit of a shirt pull. Advantage played from Stratos. Blaves it into Nick Morton. Gets a little toe on it, puts it in the far corner. And that is 2-0 to South Hobart. Nick Morton, adoring fans surround him on the far side. A few high fives for the kids, but no real celebration. But I think that'll do well for his votes.
Oh, that's a good celebration, getting around the young kids of the club. Always good to see that. Certainly getting around one of their heroes at this club in Nick Morton, but that was a calm and collected finish with the outside of the right boot there from Nick Morton. And I want to give full credit to the referee there for playing a really sensible advantage. They often cop a bit of heat in Tasmania, the referees, but Stratos has done really well to allow that one to run through, and Nick Morton has gobbled it up and said thank you very much for that one.
I mean, two blatant fouls in the build-up, but when you've got that kind of streaking forward play that South Hobart have got, you better to play advantage.
Kobe Kemp doing a bit of the gymnastics floor there. I think that was a pirouette, turn, round off flick, backflip there from that pretty appalling foul from perhaps Marnie or Butler. You can have another crack here before Butler comes in imposingly and wins the ball back. Now just allows himself to be caught up the field a little bit, and they'll play with one at the back for a minute.
Brookfield gives that away, and Marnie, that one at the back, comes across and just gets it, steals it off Morton, uses the body well, and Morton slides in, good determination, and eventually Butler will put that one again out of the perimeter of Darcy Street.
Yeah, just blasting it away. Apparently we've still got one ball left at least, so this one's trotted out on the pitch, and Nick Morton just
manager earning his keep.
The Bulldogs stretching after that one, and Kemp will come take the corner here. Alex Walter offering short. They quite often exercise that option. They have again, and they work to Ludford in plenty of space. Huey Ludford just fancying a little end of season goal. He won't get it there, and the referee Stratos brings an end to a pretty successful first half for the champions. 2-0 the lead. Hamlet and Morton getting on the score sheet, and they've got the game well in their keeping.
Certainly do. It's been a fairly consistent first half from South Hobart. Had a bit of a lull there in the middle where Launceston City had a couple of shots on goal, but it's probably been, in terms of attacking chances, mainly South Hobart's way, and 2-0 a relatively fair scoreline so far.
Kobe Kemp really getting cleaned up in the build-up to that goal too, but really clinical finish there from Nick Morton, and don't the kids love it? Always good to see that one around your local footy.
No, you've got to get away from the canteen somehow, and that's one of the few things that will get the people away from South Hobart's wonderful dim sims.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout, Funty, and we'll be back after a dim sim for the second half. Mitt and Darcy Hall was arriving, but just showing there.
Down the line, Darcy Hall favoured for this one. He sends in the early cross looking for Hamlet. And coming across was Butler. It's for another cross here for Kobe Kemp.
Companion to Ghetto.
Sends it in and rising and fumbling, and then somehow heading over the top from 2 yards out.
Real team uniform kind of stuff.
Must be something about the black and white stripes.
Just been sold into trouble here as Morton combines with Darcy Hall, and Hamlet makes a good interception there from Dylan Williams, but just didn't have the players around him to... Oh, and a nutmeg there from Connor Schmidt before being played by Schmidt and Gorry so far. A little bit of a combination between that man Schmidt and Nick Morton before he jinks through a few players and draws the foul. State.
The season started with a Kobe Kemp goal from a free kick. Oh! We won't have won the final game just yet because Clark has made a fantastic...
After a night on the red wines.
Kemp stands this one up. Clark again strong and punches well clear. Cross.
Good enough.
Well, he's played there before as well as Morton just beats it out to
challenge.
Great challenge. And then another one on the ground. Puts out Compain. Brown in the middle. Ball bounces indecision, gets the volley up and just hoofs that high well over the bar.
Yeah, champagne delivery from
To turn away from
good
Gorry.
body work.
Yeah, good work all round. Still manages to get the cross in, and Campaign nearly gets ahead to it for Ludford.
I'll tell you what. Now to Nicholas Morton. So typically imposing challenge there from Marnie, but a beautiful back heel there from Nick Morton to release Darcy Hall. He looks to play, but they play it straight over the top to Campaign, and it's a bit of a coming together there from Brown, and he's just kept going there as Dogger Brown sensibly goes back onto the line and clears it away. Well done to Dogger Brown, showing his experience.
There'd be a lot of Cammy.
So Kobe Kemp with a free kick. He drives it wide of the mark.
Whilst there, Ludford returns the favour, but falls right in the space there. Hamlet, and unfortunately not quite from Darcy Hall. He had the right idea to play in Hamlet. Hall at the back post. Slip from Marnie. Hamlet picks it up, and surely it goes over the top. Marnie didn't get too much ball then.
As you say, Funty, certainly shouts for a penalty there. Maybe a hint of offside there from Nick Morton, but the ball only goes as far as Lachlan Clark.
I mean, sticking the leg out in the box like that is all right.
Which is always good to see. You don't like to see him going down cheaply as Schmidt tries to go through, but Clark comes well off his line. And after that first
return ball from Hamlet, not obliging. Little ding chip forward, and it's a scuff clearance from Nagato, which luckily
through them running. They all steal off each other. Here's Campbell in a pocket of space. He drives it. Campaign running onto it.
At the same time,
I'm not sure that's the primary reason for it. As Schmidt's played in behind, a heavy touch, he cuts it back.
And you don't want people playing for results.
Yeah. Pretty well sewn up as Hugh Ludford lays it back to Kobe Kemp. He will think about the long range strike, and it's just over the top from Kemp.
Euro corner here. A lot of movement in the box. Looks to be going towards the head of Dogger Brown, and he gets his head to it, but just wide. Really picked him.
Yeah, Kieran Brown. A loose touch and a slip from Ludford. He ends up just having a hoof that one into the sky, which Butler plenty of time and space here. It's Williams. He'll look to load up and tries to play in Mees. Probably went one pass too far there. Did a peak Arsenal and should have just hit the thing.
Yeah, lovely box-to-box work though from Nick Moore.
Stratos, Marnie beaten out in the header. Good body work from Darcy Hall.
He's onside.
He's in Hamlet. Big chasing back. He looks to duck inside. Benny Hamlet selects the first one home for South Hobart. Great play from one in. Played rather well, so we'll see. Let's hope that doesn't knock their confidence a bit too much as Gorry plays a lovely ball into Hall again. And Brown, it's what I'd be doing every time as he looks in the Thomas direction, just tries to crane his neck to get to it. But yeah, what was happening there? Schmidt inside to Hall. That's another fantastic challenge from Marnie. He's
and
got
that's a beautiful crossfield ball too. Beautiful crossfield ball too, isn't it, Funty? He gets it out wide to Soupy Campbell, who's got Noah Mees in the middle. Jinx onto his right, has a ping.
Sometime Morton, another nutmeg onto Ghetto. Muscles him out of the way, and a free kick given against Morton.
Soft free kick.
Drives in the defence, threads it through for hammer time. Hamlet skips past the defender. Can he get there before the keeper? He does. Tucks it back to Hall. Surely Smith blocked brilliantly there.
De Ghetto.
He's done so well to deny. But really, South should have put that one in the back of the net. That should be a slice of cheese.
Soupy Campbell just really overcommitting there and
Wells on it, works it to Hamlet, turns at the top of the box, then returns it for Morton, who's offside. He bundled it home, but it won't matter.
And looking direction of Hamlet. A lovely
well
little touch there, and he's got Connor Schmidt in acres of space. Go out and chase Hamlet, which is an interesting pace battle.
Really intelligent stuff from Ben Brookfield there. The player manager has a big shot from distance, cracks the bar from Kobe Kemp. And that has just come
here. If Walter can work this right, far post and Morton on one side, Hamlet in the centre. And Walter gets there. Brookfield doesn't get there in time, but good save, I think, in the end from Clark. I thought that was on target. That play Brookfield just given away. Williams had committed there, gets a bit of a shirt pull. Advantage played from Stratos. Plays it into Nick Morton. Gets a little toe on it, puts it in the far corner. And that is 2-0 to South Hobart. Brookfield gives that away, and Marnie, that one at the back, comes across and just gets it, steals it off Morton, uses the body well, and Morton slides in, good determination, and eventually Butler will put that one again.
So welcome back here to Darcy Street for the second half. The final 45 minutes of the NPL Tasmania season. 45 minutes away from lifting the trophy, and it looks like South Hobart are going to do that with another victory. Undefeated since round 6. Their winning streak came to an end last week when they were held by Zebras, but they've still chalked up a very impressive season, and it looks like they're going to finish it as they've played the majority of it, barring a big comeback here from City, who look like they're set to finish in 6th. And perhaps now the big interest is who's going to stand out and just ensure themselves a few votes ahead of the medal tonight. Could prove very important. This one's flicked on by Noah Mees over the head of Campbell and well dealt with by Brown. Marnie away from Darcy Hall. Up in the middle, driving forwards. Well done, Nick Morton. Darcy Hall rather scrapping in there. Dogger Brown across to Adam Gorry. Gorry back to Kieran Brown. He's sitting on that clean sheet, as is Marcelo Mercury at the moment in the battle for the Golden Glove. As it stands, Mercury one ahead. Here's Kobe Kent with a long chip over the top for Gorry. He laid it back for the Morthog. Morton to Gorry, combining. Now Dylan Williams will pick it up and City will look to counter the other way through Jared Linger. That was broken up by Oscar Thomas though. Worked it to Morton, lovely first time release for Adam Gorry. He's got a chance to put a cross in here. He does so through a sea of legs and then Schmidt can't track it. He'll get back on it and lay it back to Walter. Walter looks to switch the play with a crossfield ball for Darcy Street's favourite Ranger, left it just short of Kemp and steered away by Soup.
And Oscar Thomas keep that one in play, hoist it forward. Hamlet getting out to it from Marnie. Now Walter back nearly in the direction of Soupy Campbell. Eventually gets it back. He's only really got Mees ahead, and Dogger Brown will claim that one rather comfortably, and that's nobody in particular. So a promising start from South Hobart.
They like looking to that man on occasion, Mr. in particular. Oft repeated call throughout the year as we see De Ghetto just kind of get up and under there and get it to Williams before the ball ends up in the hand, well, at the feet of Kieran Brown, who looks out wide to that man, the best fullback in the state. Gorry, he gets his head up and just chips it over the top. Beautiful pitching wedge stuff there from him to Ben Hamlet, who looks inside to Darcy Hall, but perhaps made run the wrong side there of his fellow number 9.
Oh, it just played short there. Dogger Brown read that one a treat. And surely it's going to go out to Gorry. Yes, not too many options, but Hall with a nice touch. He'll surely beat Marnie for pace, but unfortunately the sideline then beat him. So that will be a throw in. Just to remind you of obviously 3 other games on at the moment. The goal result we had over half time was that Devonport were 2-0 ahead.
And Michael Holden with both of those goals, Funty.
Oh, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. And he's only banging them in. As we'll see Marnie to launch that one into the stratosphere. Mees doesn't win the header, but does go in his direction. Kemp will pick that one up. He's just waiting for Schmidt to overlap and sides against it. He's 5 or 6 touches there and ends up back at the keep-up. Yeah, Michael Holden, I think he's just trying to chase down his teammate in terms of leading goal scorer there. As Brown doesn't quite get there, and between Marnie, Brookfield and now Clark. Oh, he takes a very risky touch with 3 South Hobart players bearing down. Gorry fires it into Morton and Clark. Another goal for Nick Morton. That's his second after a bit of a rash touch there from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, a bit of a stage fall there too, as he from Lachlan Clark, as he falls to his knees and looks to the heavens and asks them why. Well, I know why, because that was some overzealous play with the feet there when you have 3 players bearing down on you. I think in Darcy, Hall, Nick Morton and Gorry. So played himself into a lot of trouble there before Gorry takes the unselfish option, puts it to the feet of Morton, who says, "Thank you very much, I'll help myself to a brace there, boys."
I don't think he wanted to clear it first time with his left foot, so he wanted to get it, or on his right foot, sorry, he wanted to get it on the left, and by the time he'd done that, he'd put himself in rather a pickle, had Clark. And we'll see if Lonnie City can get a goal here through Soupy Campbell. There's an inside to Williams. And it's going to be a little chip through ball there from Linger. Gorry gets it back to Oscar Thomas, who thumps it forward right to the feet of Ben Hamlet.
Great touch.
Heavy touch and good covering defence there from Butler. Ball's going to stay in play. Darcy Hall up. Morton at the edge of the box. Hamlet goes himself, and Clark redeems himself a bit there by holding on to that one. But good play there from Hamlet.
Yeah, just cutting into his left, which is not typical Hammer time stuff, but a decent enough shot, well held by Lachlan Clark, who somewhat makes amends for the error just before, but really that's probably put the game to bed, and now it's just a matter of how many goals are going to be scored in this game. Not so much a matter of who will win it. It's been a fine day for South Hobart, who will be lifting the trophy after this, and they'll be looking to put a couple more goals onto the team sheet. It's a beautiful combination play. Darcy Hall slots it into the far right corner. They are having a ball now out there, South Hobart. And wasn't that some fantastic build-up play there, Funty? Just knocking it around, ticking and tucking.
Yeah, again, Morton barely raises a smile, but the rest of his team, very, very well done from halfway.
Have a look at this.
Goes Kemp into Hamlet, back to Kemp, back to Hamlet.
Through the hole.
Hall there. Linger tries to come across, and nice little scoop finish there into the far corner. South Hobart, 2 goals in the first half, and we've had 2 goals in the first 5 minutes. They are in hot form this second half.
Yep, I think they've gotten the message. Let's run up the score, lads, they've said. This is not juniors. They will try and run up the score as much as they can here.
Yeah, no mercy rule being enforced here as Walter turn past Egan, goes back to Schmidt. Now Campu delightfully gets past Williams.
That was really one of the better team goals that I've seen this year, though. Beautiful interplay from the boys up front for South. And this the back situation is sort of working quite well as Brookfield just lets out a bit of frustration on young Oscar Thomas.
I'll tell you what, that was nearly cheeseworthy. I thought right down in front of us here in the commentary position.
Yeah, I haven't seen any yet so far today, so we'll be looking forward to the first one coming out as sunshine begins to sweep over Darcy Street.
Yeah, as
Nick Morton gets it out wide to Adam Gorry, who's quickly pressured by Linger, but plays a nice 1-2 with Darcy Hall before he offers an outlet on the outside just to draw the defending players away before he opts for Morton. Morton puts his head down and looks to charge before a poor touch from Egan allows in Darcy Hall before Connor Schmidt arriving, just cannot get his boot onto it.
Yeah, arriving just a little late at the back post. Surprised Hall didn't actually touch inside and try and have a shot off himself, and Schmidt, oh look, he has actually just about made up the ground. He just couldn't quite get a toe to it. As
it was good positional defending there from Scott Marnie, though, because he waited just the right amount of time before cutting off the option, which was Hamlet in the centre of the goals. So credit to the lad for some decent defending, despite the fact that they may be 4-0 down.
Yeah, and a rash clearance there from Brown puts it over the fence. The Salvation Army sign over there says, please give generously. We are giving very generously to the kids in the park down the other end. They are having absolute fun time with all the footballs they're getting there as Mees gets that one from midfield, beats one, but cannot quite beat a second in Kobe Kemp, who probably rather fortuitously tried to play that to Walter, who thought of other things. So, Monty City with throwing in probably the best position they've had all half. Now Mees goes the shot deflected, and Brown just about was enough to claim that one. And it's
a bit of an off break about that one.
It did.
Some good stuff. A little bit of the X-Man we saw earlier. Xavier Doherty lining up for the Beachside Twos.
No.
Absolutely
100% true, mate.
Leading the line up top was the big X-Man, and just with the score at 4-0, just the last 5 league meetings between these teams before today, 7-1, 5-1, 10-1, 8-0, 5-0 to South Hobart. They may have beaten them in the cup, but in the league they have dealt out some absolute shellackings, and we're well on the way to a 6th in a row.
Tell you what,
dominant 2-year period, that.
Tell you what, I would have skipped work if I knew the X-Man was getting up front. Just had a look at the tape sheet.
Xavier Doherty, the number 2, leading the line for the Beachside Magoos earlier on today. Oh, we were loving it.
I'll say you would have forgotten what sport you were watching and what ground you were at there
that's
for a while.
Well, that's exactly it. He came on late too with the interchange rule in place in the Challenge Cup, and just when the pitch was starting to break up a bit, they thought that they'd insert Xavier Doherty into the lineup and try and get one that either straightens on or hits one of the minefield on the pitch. But
well, there's a nice bit of rough down the left-hand
that's
side
exactly
here that
right.
I reckon he would have done rather well in.
Would have really enjoyed that, but no, it wasn't too much for Beachside out there as they were beaten 2-0 by 2 beautiful Pajari Sculthorpe goals. But back to the main event here as Campaign looks to cross before it's blocked well by Oscar Thomas. They were 2 cracking goals from Pajari Sculthorpe too.
I just love how
2 of the best.
I just love how X-Men has an FFA rego number. It's just brilliant. Just play anywhere. As we see Kirby Kemp destroy that attack. Hall and Gorry have a miscommunication. Marnie tries to get that forward. Actually Egan there, and Thomas plays a diagonal ball. Now to Ben Hamlet.
Really good touch.
Who peeled off Butler there. Takedo getting back. Now Gorry's on his bike. He's got a very, very large engine, so he'll get that one easily, does Gorry. Cut on the left. A little bit of a heavy touch. Gets it back to Gorry. Stays on side, and Brookfield eventually.
Crucial
challenge appealing for a goal kick, as the manager would want the manager to do, but no luck there.
A little bit quiet in the first half, I thought, Adam Gorry, but he's really causing carnage down the right in the second half, just getting up, jumping in the attacks, linking up. South Hobart just running them ragged and dissecting this defence at the moment. They look very much like there could be more goals on the cards. A bunch of players just playing for a few votes here, trying to add a few goals to the score sheet, and these 2 down there from the corner, be chief amongst them in Gorry and Morton, and Gorry drives a flat one into the top of the box looking for Brown, but Dylan Williams cut that one out. Campbell worked it up to Campaign, and then Campbell nodded it back on. The raking giraffe legs of Oscar Thomas got in there though, chipped up to the middle where Brookfield was. He won it down to Morton, who flicked it over the top for Darcy Hall, who's really starting to come into this one. Gets the better of Jared Linger. Gets the better of Marnie, then crosses and cleared only as far as Gorry. Lost the ball behind him, so he retreats back to Kemp. Over to Schmidt. Still controlling the ball expertly here, South. Schmidt driving forwards. Couldn't pick out Morton.
Yeah, just stayed the other side of Butler there. Perhaps a little bit of miscommunication, but yeah, these wing backs that are operating in this South Hobart lineup have just caused carnage, haven't they, lads? There has been no stopping them, and the fact that they've got such good options out wide when combined with the box-to-box play of Morton and Kemp in the middle, it has just been a bloodbath here at Darcy Street.
Yep, it's certainly been all one-way traffic outside of a 15-minute spell in the first half where Lonnie City were at least at minimum evens, possibly even slightly on top, as that ball been given a corner. So all the usual tall timber for South Hobart getting up in the box. It goes in that direction, and Clark claims rather well. He's only got Campaign up top, as Mees had gone back for the height, and well cut out from Alex Walter. So that's first 2 goals had pretty much ruined any chance of a Lonnie City comeback, whose thoughts are probably on the League Cup game next weekend. Very interesting to see who they end up with in that contest.
A draw stage tonight where Matty Sanders might just be firming for some late votes as he strokes home a second. Hobart Zebras 3-0 over Rangers.
Do we know if it was Clenage that scored for Olympia or not?
I've just been given raw scores for that game. No, not great information coming out of Warrior Park to me, but one all the scores still over there.
Well, there is a bit of an information buffer between over the river, so we'll blame it on that. As you were getting very excited about that slide challenge there, Morgan.
Oh, it was firm. You could hear it reverberating through the stands, really, as they try to pick out Gorry making a run at the far post, but all he's really done is allowed in Linger here, who puts his head down and runs at Kemp. Plays a beautiful ball into Williams before an attempted pass to Soupy Campbell is intercepted by the imperious Dogger Brown. And Ben Hamlet on his bike, who was about a foot offside or perhaps more, I think, before the interception came in from Egan.
Just love the distance Marnie covered to make sure of that offside call. They just ran about 15 metres ahead and still not given.
Yeah, oh well, look, the mullet might be infallible, but we'll let him have that one.
Correct call.
Exactly.
We see Hamlet turn you back to Oscar Thomas, now Morton.
Not sure on the goal scorer, as I said, over at Warrior Park with the information, but the Warriors now 2-1 ahead of Clarence. They've turned that one around nicely.
Very, very interesting over on the Eastern Shore derby. Now 31 goals that Clarence need. And I don't think they're quite going to get that somehow.
You never know.
South Hobart are doing a good job for them, it has to be said. They're really just narrowing that goal margin down a bit.
That's 26 now when you think about it. So you never know. If South pile on another 20, there could be a big turnaround over there and they could get the bragging rights.
I did see it result in some very obscure league the other day. It was like 17-0 as we'll take off from that as Morton's in on the hat-trick. No, it's just around
he
the
just
keeper.
walks it in.
That is cheeky. That is absolutely ridiculous.
What a way to pick
Morton
out your hat-trick, Nick Morton. Just a little dalliance through the defence of Launceston City. Sends the keeper one way, cuts inside him and just pokes it in and says, thank you very much, that'll be 3 for me.
Maybe 3 votes, dare I say, for the Mortog Morton. He's put 3 past him.
Look at that.
Good time to be putting in this performance.
Just utterly schooled Clark there.
Well, credit to Jared Linger, because if he didn't come across then, Morton was... I'd be very, very tempted if he put the ball on the line and then head rolled it, like knocked the header to roll it in, because that's the only way that could get cheeky.
Could have been a perfect hat-trick that way. I think he scored.
And in a sub coming on, Dogger Brown will probably have to get off half hour early to prepare for the champagne shower he's about to give the stand.
He's going to be loading up those champagne bottles, I reckon, is Dogger Brown. I wouldn't be surprised if here a little bit of a round of applause goes around South Hobart for Dogger Brown.
Yeah,
and I'll join in on it.
Of course you will, as we see the captain off to prepare for the celebrations both this afternoon and tonight. We'll see what happens formation-wise, whether they'll go centre back or they'll go revert back to the 4. We'll see how that goes, as Adam Gorry now striding forward in the attacking position. He's got Hamlet at the back post, just about beats everyone, and Williams will pick that one up. There's only real player available was Linger on the overlap. Couldn't quite get there. First touch for your boy Albie after 62 minutes in this game.
Back to the Mortog Morton. 3 goals, and he's putting on a real show now. Look at him throwing in the step overs, the fancy moves. Darcy Hall, he's been electric too, and he looks to link up here with Walter with a lovely back heel. Gets around one more, does Darcy Hall, and turns back. Walter, and he can't get through. The City defence on that occasion holding firm. Egan winning it away. Williams now in the direction of Campbell. Now Compain, turn, lays it back to Williams, who blasted it straight into Walter, and that will kill that move. And Alex Walter looks to send him back the other way, but well won there by Isaac Indighetto, who looks to charge down the right. Mees and Compain in the middle for him. Instead lays it back for Williams. Back again to Campbell.
Certainly was a cold and grey South Hobart morning for Indighetto, but he loses the ball there, and it's gleefully taken by Kobe Kemp before Scott Marnie comes in and puts in an imposing challenge as per usual, and Morton looks to whack one over the top before Hamlet is given offside, and He just asked the question there about whether he was offside or not, but we know who's made the call and we know it must be correct.
Yeah, it absolutely must be, as we'll see Marnie with the 19th long ball free kick of the day. As not sure if the sub is can be made now or on the next out. It looks like it's now, and it is the manager himself, Ben Brookfield, taking himself off. Very harsh judge. A few tactical instructions, almost like he was blowing a kiss into his ear then.
I thought there was just going to be a little bit of passionate.
If it wasn't the manager, it's what you'd think. As we say, Reece Gould come on, probably stay roughly the same position, I'd say.
He's played fullback when I've watched him this year, Gould. We'll see where he slots into this lineup, as Darren Ling has set a bit of a task. He got there before Gorry and played it to Compain, Egan and Williams. So they're looking to build. Be broken up there by Oscar Thomas. Gorry, cut out well by Linger, showing good intent. He looks to drive forwards, just showed too much of it to Kobe Kemp though. He clatters it away and sets Hamlet a task. Kemp really working hard in midfield at the moment, but working back the other way quite nicely was Deghetto. Dylan Williams charging forward again, a heavy touch and a free kick. We'll get it out of jail there.
So it's probably one of the easiest referee games Stratos has had all year. Outside of the great advantage call, he's really pretty much had nothing to do all game. Barely a foul called in this second half. You'd probably got to call that one though. It was pretty blatant. As seeing Dogger Brown go into the sheds. Hopefully he's not going to get full dressed and then go full John Terry on us.
At least he's played in this game,
yeah.
Bunty. I don't know about that. It's not really full John Terry.
Well, partial. As we see a long-range shot from Linger falls.
What is Wayne Bridges' wife?
Oh, gee, dangerous areas.
I know it's the last game, Morgan, but we would like to stay on air for the last 25 minutes.
Oh, I hate the bloke. Come on.
We'll
leave it at that.
Lays it back to the Frenchman, Luke Farrell. He goes forward.
Spoken like a true Arsenal fan.
Nick Morton, he's coughed it up here, the Morthog. Hustling back. The other way was Egan, really bombing on at the opposite end of the pitch. And now South Hobart through Kobe Kemp. And he picks it up in middle, drops it off for Walter. Combining with the Morthog, who spreads it wide. For Adam Gorry, what a season he's had. He won't be able to track this one down. Just a bit too far ahead of him.
Noticed Alby's finally warming up, Morgan. He left the bench where he's been placed for the whole game.
Yeah, he did play 60 minutes of the game beforehand, so I'd be surprised if they just brought him off with that 60 minutes if they wanted to give him a bit of a cameo in this, the final game of the season before they're presented with the trophy. So why not get the big Albie out there, particularly when they've been scoring goals for fun as they have today, this South Hobart lineup.
And free kick eventually blown there after a bit of protesting. Walter, he just stood his ground, but there was a bit of a push there. Not quite on the level we saw last week at Beachside Knights, but you've probably got to call that one as well. As you see a midfield battle and surely an unintended flick there from Mees, and Hamlet uses his body well to create the 3v3. It's now Hall, he's got Morton and Hamlet still with him, cuts onto the right foot, beats two, it goes near post.
Oh!
That's another goal for South Hobart. Darcy Hall goes very nicely there, selling a fair few dummies before rifling that one into the near post. 6-0 for South Hobart, and this 20 minutes of this half has been something else from them.
They are running up the score now, aren't they, lads? They are not mucking about. They are just having a bit of fun here, and that was just a little bit surprised that crept in at the near post almost. Thought that Clark had that one covered, but just dipped underneath the arm there, I think. The outstretched right arm of Lachlan Clark, who just couldn't do too much about that shot, but wouldn't be surprised if we see a few changes brought in for South soon, particularly maybe Liam Quayle, who's fresh and ready to go.
Well,
Lonnie City, of this team.
Lonnie City have just made a sub. Actually, Nicholas Thorne coming on, who's down on this. He seems to have gone to left wing. We'll see who's come off in a moment. That was Soupy Campbell's positions. That's a nice through ball. Morton he's put it over. After 3 very, very clinical finishes, he's put that one a little high. And
It was really good play there from Darcy Hall to play that ball through, wasn't it? And I really liked this selfless run from Gorry on the outside there, which just drew Linger away from that space, made him worry about whether or not to cover it. So always like to see those kind of selfless runs in footballers. So full credit to Adam Gorry in the build-up to that shot, and full credit to Darcy Hall for playing through a beautiful through ball.
Yeah, I think that was
missing the finish.
Compain who's come off, and Soupy Campbell switched to the other side by the looks of it, as again that one touch into play before a crunching challenge from Marnie. You may have scored a hat-trick, Morton, but you're not getting away from a Marnie slide tackle. And that's surely in the back from Alex Walter. Yeah.
Oh, I love him.
Vintage
he just
Marnie.
gets stuck in, doesn't he, Marnie?
Vintage Marnie.
Vintage Marnie.
Look at this. Tackle of the year.
Crunch.
Jeez.
He knows only one way.
He's a powerful horse, isn't he?
That is fantastic.
Actually, I've probably gone the wrong animal there. He's probably more of a silverback gorilla.
Certainly ferocious. Scotty Marnie.
He's a very good centre-back too. Despite the fact that they might be 6-0 down, he's probably been their best player on the pitch, I dare say, because it's all come from the other side. Gorry steals it now, and they'd be looking for 7. Falls to Darcy Hall. Tries to go back to Gorry. Hamlet seemed about a good 2 metres offside, but they'll play it on, and a drive from Morton. It's nearly spilt. But in the end, well held from Lachlan Clark. They would have been pretty unhappy with that one, because I suspect Hamlet was about 2 metres offside there, but I'd probably need another look.
Everyone did seem to stop, and almost I think the only person who thought he was onside was Hamlet himself, as Gorry pressured by Gould and just gets away from Soupy Campbell. Now he's going to look right, and there's going to be no one there, so he keeps it on this side for Gould, who's done a very, very acrobatic flip to get back up, but Oscar Thomas got the ball, and Walters just toying with Linger at the moment. Goes near post. Hamlet and off the chest. He'll look to cut it back and can't quite get through the hole. But yeah, Reece Gould with the most acrobatic way of getting back up I've seen this match.
We got Linger on the ball now, and he looks to go to the number 2, the new substitute, Nicholas Thorne, who goes back to Williams, and they look out wide here with the run into Ghetto, but off to Soupy Campbell, who just treads on the ball, which is a good summation of their day here, Launceston City. And Alex Walter will say thank you very much before he gives the ball away to that man Marnie, the big unit.
Yeah, it's a bit of a casual delivery.
A bit sloppy
Egan,
in the middle here, isn't it?
Turned around and put his head in his hands. Did not want to even recognise that was him. Very disappointing. And what's not disappointing is that through ball. Adam Gorry in on goal, hits it first time, goes wide. We were both just distracted
players
here.
Starting to look a bit hungry for goals out there, aren't they, Fundy?
Oh, I think they're wanting to share the love around as we have a look at that Reece Gould get back up. There's Oscar Thomas. He falls on his back. This may even look even better in slow-mo. Just whoop, straight back onto his feet as we
go. A little bit of the gymnast.
Yeah, a little bit of gymnast as we have a double change.
Connor Cass, I think.
Yeah, it is Connor Cass. Connor Schmidt, the first one to come off.
A little bit surprised to see that change too, because he's just played about 70 minutes in the Challenge League before this, and I think that was Liam Quayle coming on too.
Yeah, Ben Hamlet going off to a big whoop whoop to the crowd, and we'll see Connor Cass go up top, and Albie sitting on the bench. You'll be very disappointed, Morgan.
Ah, well, you know, you
can't
could have worse
everything.
day. Exactly, you can't have everything in life. I've gotten some dim sims. I get to see the trophy lifted. Get to see a 6-0 South Hobart victory, so what could go wrong, really?
Yeah, what more do you
Yeah,
need
a
in
little
life?
bit of a cheeky kick away there, perhaps. Just asking the question there whether or not that would be a slice of cheese out there on the far side, the Launceston City player, and probably a fair question to ask, really. It was a sneaky little play there, I think, from the man who'd just come on the pitch, Quayle.
Not sure how many games we've ever had without a cheese dished out, but it hasn't really looked like it from Stratos, even for the challengers that were a bit that way, as Marnie goes into Hall rides it. He'll get on his right foot, look to go far post, and just wide. You can see what he was trying to do, and managed to brush off Marnie, which is probably the one of the few times you'll ever get that.
He's got quite a large turning circle, the big unit, Marnie, so once he'd committed to this one, he was not getting back to it anytime soon. And the ball just fell nicely there for Darcy Hall. But perhaps, yeah, taking it wide wasn't the worst option with how quickly Lingham was coming to cover. But unfortunately for him, he just couldn't find that far post there.
This is too far away, Darcy Hall, who's been outstanding here today. Really torn this City defence apart as coming together between Egan and Gorry as Oscar Thomas gets it forward to that man, Darcy Hall. That's blatant handball against Marnie. Apparently not. Hey! He just does a little ride on Morton's back. Looking for a little piggyback. On Darcy Hall's back, rather. Just getting up.
Must be a pretty strong back of his because he's a... We already have the mountain, but he's a man mountain, Big Marnie.
He's an athletic man, Morton, but I'm not sure if he could piggyback Marnie. There's kind of Cash showing a bit of burst. He's only got Gorry at the back post. Holds it up, goes in that direction. Marnie just thumps that one clear from behind his keeper.
Connor Cass looking to really get involved here, isn't he?
No, he wants a goal, as does, I think, all South Hobart players. Surprised we haven't seen a centre back just stride forward. Wouldn't surprise me as we see Lundy City. That's a very looping throw-in for Marnie. Eventually gets it back, so no harm done from Butler, who whacks it into the sky, only as far as Morton. Is it as far as to Ghetto. Now back to Ludford. Back to Loic Farrell, who as Gorry actually manages to sprint back and get a touch, but unfortunately that was probably closer to us up here. I'm sure that was, he punched that. And then
as we have another look at the piggyback there. Oh, that is some beautiful stuff. Hang 10, my man, Marnie. Lovely stuff.
Just how do you even get in that position? Not really sure.
Oh, he was good shielding of the ball from Darcy Hall, and a good ride there from Marnie too, as that is a hacked clearance and gives Loic Farrell all to do, and he competes well with Noah Mees before the ball is collected by Kieran Brown. Gets his head up and it goes out again to that man, Ferrell TV, who probably hasn't played as much as he would have liked this year in this South Hobart side, because those midfield positions have been pretty nailed down by Kemp and Morton when they haven't played in attack.
Well, they talk about in the NBA the best bench player, the best number 6. I've got to say Loic Farrell's probably that role, just because he's rarely started but has got all the quality in the world. As Gorry goes near post, well cut out. Williams, we should have just played the simple ball. Ended up not getting there, and Cass, who's in all energy since he's come on, probably realises he's been put on instead of Albie and has a big point to prove. A bit of a probably through ball there. Williams has got plenty of space to turn, and he can...
We're just starting to see a few of those midfield players for South really creep forward too, as we saw Kobe Kemp go to make a run in behind. Normally very calm, dictating the play from centre of midfield, but he thought to himself, why don't I get involved if it's 6-0 and title's wrapped up? Having a bit of fun out there, the boys now.
Clarence have levelled it at Warrior Park, 2-2 the score.
Oh, the mighty Clarence. Jabber in.
They've never beaten the Warriors in their NPL history, but perhaps if I can conjure a late one there, might be able to reverse that trend. Either way,
they need to bring on the Lush man is what they need to do.
Oh,
not sure what the team, mate.
He would have started after last week, mate. He made a couple of the best goal line clearances you'll ever see.
Yeah, right.
No way he would have been dropped from that lineup.
Fantastic, good to see.
As South Hobart managed to pick the ball up on the left-hand side.
Have
Gorry has an acre. He does have a ping, and that's why he shouldn't have had a ping, because that's gone about 30 yards over.
Who's played that?
It's just the little wah, 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 wah. Comes around the ground, and there is a sub happening from our producer. It will be Rosetto Tiles coming on to replace Egan.
Let's hope for some throw-ins here.
We see the rose and the thorn on the pitch here. It's a bit like a bouquet, the Launceston City team today, but not a very pretty one. A bit wilted, those flowers out there today from the sun that has been pouring down from this South Hobart lineup.
Well, they've been trampled by the
utterly
likes
trampled.
That's Hall and Morton.
Yep.
If anything, it's the bouquet of flowers just throwing to Nick Morton on the ground. I can just imagine that running along the grandstand side.
Yeah, it could be on the cards if he adds another one. Gorry Plays it into the middle for Alex Walter. One of those South attackers who've just run their own race today, brought down by Jared Linger.
How many goals would you need to score to deserve a bouquet of flowers? What do you reckon? Good. You'd want at least more than the hat trick. You get the match ball, and then that's kind of the next level up.
5.
Yeah. Making number 5, Hugh Ludford going to take
Get the match ball and the bouquet, you reckon?
Yeah. And
You just get to take home Rosetto and Thorn with you.
just get the two of them. There'll be a few people in the world who wouldn't want that, but he's Gould. And got the ball. Goes inside to Linger, who's immediately pressured from Cass. As you can see Linger take the throw in rather than Rosetto tiles, which is very disappointing because only 10 minutes left and we want some long throw-ins.
Always preferred Rosetto tiles to Wiley tiles, that's for sure, those pesky ads.
Yep, and nothing like the Tile Centre's World Cup ad where they couldn't say Bresciano many years ago. If you're going to support them, at least pronounce the star player's name right. As it's a nice throw-in and a nice flick away from Williams.
Yeah, Noah Mees unfortunately just not on the same wavelength for that one. So we see Butler with the big header before it's lumped forwards from Connor Cass and cleared away from Butler. Gorry kind of jinks inside a little bit here before giving it to Hugh Ludford. Quayle looks to get stuck in, and it's fortunate that he did get stuck in. It allowed it to just keep away from De Ghetto before Walter plays it out wide, and they've got an overlapping player, I think, in Quayle before quite an imposing challenge comes in from the number 14 for Launceston City, Big Scott Marnie.
I mean, it's Marnie with a slide tackle. That's about the 10th one of the game so far.
He's a crunching unit, isn't he?
He is. That's why we love him up here at Slice of Cheese.
Just about go the rice bubble on him because there's plenty of snap, crackle and pop in the man.
Yep, and Darcy Hall with the missed flick. Yeah. As Clark will probably just thump this one in the Mees direction. Eventually goes the long throw. It's the head of Walter. Probably one of the few people to have scored today, Alex Walter for South Hobart. In the attacking line-up anyway, as it's eventually given away and going to stride forward through Mees. A couple of winning runners in Soupy Campbell, and
well done for Farrell.
Farrell beats out Rosetto with that one. Connor Cass busying himself in the middle of the pitch. Oscar Thomas with a left foot chip closer to the mullet than to his intended target.
We'll get a good shot of it in a second. The sun's just come out for it. There we go. Beautiful.
There's ball played back in. Jared Linger in the forward direction to Rosetto. Eventually gets to him eventually before a misplaced pass to De Ghetto. Just getting a bit scrappy the last 15 minutes once South Hobart's very, very hot streak finished after the first 20 minutes. Been a bit disjointed, probably, last 10 minutes of the regular season.
Is it 5-0 or 6-0?
It's 6.
Yeah, the locals have just opted to not bother pulling out the scoring because must have sore arms after constantly reaching up and changing that sign all day with the amount that they've been banging in. So, yeah, that's it. Just comprehensive is the victory. Yeah. Good way to describe it. Comprehensive. South Hobart 0, Launceston City.
Matthew Sanders with a hat-trick, 3-0 Hobart Zebras. Could that prove decisive?
Hat-trick? Didn't you say Grunwald scored one earlier?
Yeah, 4-0.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he's got 3 of them.
Shit. He's doing well. He's doing well, is Sanders. 3 votes with Mitzi Medal on tonight. He'll be one of the favourites for that one, I'd assume.
Well done, Cass. Just showing a little bit of pop there to evade the challenge before looking out wide to Walter, and he crosses in. Morton looking for 4, but only as far as the new substitute in Rosetto.
Just to put a South Hobart player on the floor then as Rosetto. Oh, that's just miscued there from Darcy Hall. So, very interesting results and player performances here from the last game of the season, last round of the season. Not too much riding on it in terms of ladder. don't quite have the, like we had with the Southern Championship last Saturday, the excitement of top of the table decided, but enough intrigue, I think, to go around.
Yeah, I don't think that's a fair way to say it, because we've certainly been treated to a decent display here today, so it's certainly been worth coming out, that's for sure. A good interception there from Kobe Kemp before a nice flick from Darcy Hall. Looks for Walter, but excellent challenge from Linger. Wins the ball back before Cass pressures him, and he goes up the wide. Perhaps a little bit of a body check there, but gets away with it before launching a hip and shoulder of his own into Dylan Williams into the centre of the park, and they'll take a throw here through Gorry.
I thought that was a foul as well, but I guess, like the scoreboard doesn't really matter at this time of the match. Fortunately, the combined...
Not the specifics, that's right.
No.
And they'll look to switch it out the left here through Quayle, who made a run far up the line, but they opt to just maintain possession calmly here south. Ball comes out again to Oscar Thomas.
Clarence 3, Olympia 2.
Oh, the day couldn't get any better, could it?
How many more goals do they need now?
Steady on there, buddy.
25. As South Hobart fan is supporting his fellow team in red in Clarence.
Oh, look, I've got a soft spot for him. I know a few boys playing over there, and it hasn't always been roses to play for Clarence United, so it's good to see him get a win in the Eastern Shore Derby.
Yeah, don't count your chickens yet.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. There would still be 5 minutes to go over there, and they've certainly got a lot of good attacking players, but I'd always love to see Lushy get a win. Pretty good fella.
As the former South Hobart fan, now Clarence fan, gives us that round up. We'll go back. Live play, although to be fair, it's sort of petering out here a bit at Darcy Street. Launceston City looking to try and get on the scoreboard. We reeled off their defeats to South Hobart in the league over the past few seasons, and it's really been one-way track because Gorry has a shot at goal and not too far away. Probably some of the crowd really wanted him to go back post there to Connor Cass, but I think as Gorry's played a bit longer today, he'll want every goal that's coming his way.
Yeah, and he deserves a goal for his efforts up this right-hand side. He's certainly do a pretty quality beep test, I reckon, that bloke, because he just goes up and down and up and down. No stopping him.
Well, they had the GPSs on the players a few weeks back. I think Gorry was subbed off on 70 minutes, and he'd already done 12 kilometres at that stage.
Wow, that is close to elite.
Well, Morton and Turner both did 14.7, 14.8 in the middle, and Gorry probably would have beaten them both if he had stayed out there, but phenomenal. Wow. Shows you how hard working this South Hobart team is, and that's why they're so successful.
Yeah, one of the fittest team, well, the fittest team in the state, without a doubt, off those numbers. It's
comfortably.
Certainly take a more than semi-professional approach to the game down here at Darcy Street, and when you hear numbers like that, that is pretty extraordinary, because plenty of players like Mesut Ozil don't cover that amount of distance.
It always comes back to the Gunners, doesn't it, Funty?
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to think of, last time I saw a stat, kind of pro league was kind of 15, 16k for a centre mid, so yeah, good numbers here at South Hobart, and I'll be honest, I'd probably rather a few of these attackers for South Hobart than Mesut Ozil, as we see. One of those players in particular, Morton, stroked around the centre of the park. Nice little pass there to Thomas. Now Gorry,
he's having a laugh, isn't he? I think that's the way you'd describe it. He jinks inside, plays the ball to Kobe Kemp. Can he get on board? And he can. Just pokes it home, and I think he utterly cleaned himself up in the process, but he'll be pretty happy once he's recovered to get on the score sheet, because that was a beautiful run and a pretty calm finish from the lad, but made by that man Gorry. Fantastic work from Adam Gorry.
Yeah, we've been talking about the centre mid striding forward, and Kemp just gets there in that bursting run, and pretty heavy collision afterwards. Both players
courageous from both the players, but I think the worry is that Lachlan Clark's just copped the whack in the face there, and he certainly seems to be staying down. Or is it more of an issue with the with a corked quad, perhaps, as we see Linger just having a look up his skirt?
Yeah, as now be a bit of a delay in proceedings here, but 7-0 the scoreline. South Hobart in firm control here at Darcy Street. And we'll have another look at that goal. Lovely run from Gorry, who probably deserved a goal for all his attacking intent. Nice through ball splits the defenders. Bit of a heavy touch or deflection, but he does get there in time. Does camp, and most of his body is landed on the kind of quad hip of Clark there.
Would be a painful one for Clark, but hopefully he'll be back up and fine to just see out the remaining couple of minutes here. Just as the magic spray comes out, he should be all right.
Yeah, that's usually a sign he'll be all right when the magic spray comes out. Good to see him get back to his feet. All 3 subs, I think, have been made for Lonnie City, so we'll hope he can deal with the last few minutes of added time here at Darcy Street.
And we saw, was it Butler who had to go in goals in the second half at Warrior Park?
I think so, yeah.
With Clark going down injured in that one.
Did an all right job too.
Yeah, not much wrong. They had a few stops, but the Warriors were on fire that day. Yeah, they'd probably be the one who would have had to slot in there. Clark appears to be all right now, which is good to see.
Yeah, hopefully he can move all right, because there's every possibility that there could be more goals incoming here for South. Just about reckon that the fans would have lost count of the score here, especially with the fact that they've just given up on updating the scorecard down here at South Hobart, as presumably the arms have gotten tired from constantly updating it. But they look out wide here to Connor Cass, who I almost mistook for Ben Hamlet there. He gets his head up and turns and runs, but well defended there from the number 7 in Reece Gould, who's been brought on late.
And well intercepted. Alex Walter. There's not much of a midfield in this game at the moment. There's about a 50-yard gap between the defensive lines. It's just one end to the other.
Perfect territory for Oscar Thomas.
Yeah, well.
Now to bring Morgan down as the Warriors equalise in the 90th minute to make it 3-all. No shortage of drama here on the final day of the season.
It's cruel.
Just wondering how many of them Sklenaja scored. That could be very important.
That's why I was asking before, with Sanders on the hat-trick and
like
Morgan on the hat-trick.
Poor old Lush and Buggy.
If anyone out there at Olympia Clarence wants to tell us the goal scorers, that would be fantastic. As we'll have a look at Loic Farrell having a rare touch. Hasn't really had much to do in that unfamiliar left centre-back position. And good bit of defence shown from Lonnie City. And now get it out wide. Crunching challenge, and Gorry, as always, well, gets the ball and manages to give up a free kick, which, I don't know, there's about 3 photographers in front of there, so hopefully one of them got a good photo, because I have absolutely no idea what that's... Oh, handball? Okay, yep. Thank you. Certainly wasn't for the challenge.
Caught his left hand there, but don't know how you could deem it deliberate, but you never know. If Linga can get the delivery right here, they can hope that they get one back here, and he looks to that far post area. Rising at the back is Oscar Thomas to head it away before... comes out to that man Gorry, who has just been superb today, as he has been all season. Before the ball comes to Reece Gould, he looks to combine with Williams, but that will be all she wrote. A 7-0 victory to South Hobart on presentation day down here at Darcy Street. And what a comprehensive performance it was, lads.
Yeah, the type of performance that's typified their season. There's a reason they're about to hoist the trophy. They've been absolutely dominant this year. Since that loss in Devonport back in round 6, they've not looked back. They've won 14 of their final 15 games. They have been absolutely scintillating, and they end the season as the clear and comfortable champions. A thumping 7-0 victory to put the cherry on top of what has been a pretty extraordinary season for Ken Morton's boys.
We'll just have a look here at the highlights with Ben Hamlet opening the scoring with a very calm finish with his right boot, just beyond the trailing leg there of the goalkeeper, Lachlan Clark. It was a good way to get things started here for South, and I think we saw a pretty similar kind of finish here with Nick Morton making the run through, just flicking it with the outside of the boot, as we see in a second. Calmly finished, and off he went to the crowd to just let the kids know that they were all part of South Hobart too, before Lachlan Clark at the beginning of this half just gave the ball away to Gorry, who put it on a platter for Morton to help himself to a brace. And there was a little bit more coming for him later on too, because he got on board with a hat-trick today, amongst many other goals scored for this South Hobart lineup.
Full time at the Den, 2-0 it ended to Devonport. And Michael Holden brace in the first half, sealing that contest.
And that was a clinical finish too from Darcy Hall after some beautiful build-up play from South. Probably the best goal that was seen today, that one. I really enjoyed that for sure.
I also enjoyed this one from Morton where he just casually rounds the keeper. Slots that one home. It was very, very cheeky from Nick Morton.
I expected a bit more hoo-ha from him from that one, because that was quite a way to bring up your hat-trick.
And then Darcy Hall rounding off, well, nearly rounding off the scoring here today as we look at South Hobart walking over to celebrate the hoisting of the trophy. As champagne is at the ready. Trophy hasn't been delivered just as yet. And
it will be.
Huey Ludford doing some fine work on that champagne. He is getting that nice and fizzing.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have my eyes in the way of that one, because it's going to come zinging out and then it's going to come frothing out for a team that was, as you said before, calling quite scintillating today, and as you also said, have been all season. And they'll be rightfully getting the champagne going in a second.
We'll leave you with the presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to Darcy Street. On behalf of FFT, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today, and we're very proud to be here to present South Hobart with the championship, which will be presented by FFT President Sean Collins. So we'd like to ask one or both of the captains to pop up and just call out the name of the players. Hugh or Dan? Or both.
Just quickly before we get started, I wanted to say a massive thank you to all our fans this year. You guys have been amazing, so thanks very much. All right, Adam Gorry, come up. Kobe Kemp, Connor Schmidt, Nicholas Morton, Liam Quayle, Darcy Hall, Lloyd Farrell, Ben Hamlet, Alex Walter, Albie Lazinski, Oscar Thomas, Nick Becker, Connor Cass, and Kieran Brown, and Hugh Ludford. Also, hang on. Also, obviously, I want to say a massive thank you to our coaching and medical staff this year. You guys have been amazing. So, Nick LaPolla, Matt Lancaster, and of course, Ken Morton. And one more.
And now Sean will present the championship trophy to Dan and Hugh.
Their champagne worked every bit as good as their football. South Hobart 2017 NPL Tasmania champions.
That's right, and that is what you should be doing with the cup. Fill it up, lads, and take a sip because you have utterly earned it. Magnificent season, and what an enjoyment it has to see and call it has been, boys.
It has indeed. As we bring the curtains down on the NPL Tasmania season. Doesn't mean the action is done with them. Back with some League Cup action over the next few weeks, but signing off from Darcy Street here today. It's South Hobart 7-0 Launceston City, and South Hobart champions again.